Thanks for coming, Toby.
No worries. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming to speak. And as we've said to everyone that we've spoken to thus far, it takes a lot of courage to come and open up about this stuff. So we're really appreciative for taking the time to speak to both Noah and I and to hear what you have to say.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Second that.
So Toby, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah.
Where are you from? How old are you? What do you do?
So, I'm Toby. I am 24 years old, and right now I'm in marketing. I'm interning at a good place, which is a good opportunity for me, and I've been running my own small business for the last 2 years. And yeah, that in terms of money, that's what I've been up to. Yeah.
Nice, and you've just moved out. Into
Yes, I have. Talk about it. What do you think? What do you think out of 10?
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
10?
It's a great 10.
We got a 10. We got a 10.
You can see the backdrop there.
Yes.
It's very homely. Very
yes,
homely.
it is. Yeah, that's what I pride myself on. I don't know if like a couple of you may know, but I got a new kitten, a rescue cat, and she's beautiful. And I need to keep the place of like good energy, otherwise she'll freak out and run into the cupboard and hide for like 3 days. No, not 3 days, but yeah, I have to keep it warm and welcoming, and I think that's helped me in other areas in my life for sure. So she's been here for like 3 weeks. Yeah.
Very cute.
Yeah, she's
very cute.
Yeah.
What made you want to move out? Was there something in particular that pushed you out? I know I recently moved out as well.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly,
like
just start my own life.
Yeah.
Just as simple as that. Like have my own independence, do the things that I want to do on my own accord, on my own free will, and I feel like having more independence will make me a better person as well. So it's been amazing. It's been amazing, and there's a lot of space in my area, and I already feel at home. So it's a beautiful thing.
100%. Well, we were very fortunate that you reached out, and so far we've posted 2 episodes, and I assume you watched the first and you realised this is something you really wanted to get involved in, and we're really grateful that you reached out and that you've given us time for us to speak to you. Tell us, what is mental health for you?
Yeah, first of all, was Dolph the first episode?
Yeah.
So he's a good mate of mine. So I watch you guys through him, and like I just love what you guys are talking about, and I just wanted to be a part of it because it's such a big part of my life. So thank you for having me.
Pleasure's ours.
Yeah. So in terms of what mental health means to me, was that the question?
Yeah.
I mean, mental health is like a spectrum. It's just a well-being, of highs and lows, and after a rocky road in my mental health the last few years, I've found things that work for me, and I'm moving in a positive direction and trying to be of like good mental health, better habits, and I've done that through a number of things, and something that will continue to do for the rest of my life.
100%.
Yeah. You mentioned how it's like a spectrum like that. That speaks to me pretty strongly.
Yeah.
Is there things you do, like in particular, like when you feel yourself going through maybe a bit more of a low patch or a high patch, to really manage that and not let yourself get sucked into that negativity?
Yeah. Honestly, like I'm a pretty loud person, and there are a couple people. Not a couple, like very few people that I can really open up to, and I feel like when I vocalise that to the people close to me, it just takes even though it might not do anything, it just takes a little weight off my shoulders, and so I rely on other people, and I also remind myself that this is temporary. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whether it's today, tomorrow, next year, or 5 years, I'm gonna commit to myself and my well-being. So it's like, it runs pretty deep.
100%. Tobes, so I've known you since we were extremely young.
Yes.
Played football together.
Yeah, you're an average footballer. I'm kidding. He's best at the club, 100%, in my opinion. I just had to throw that out there.
So we've known each other.
That's actually the way I feel.
We've known each other since we were pretty young, and so we both watch each other grow up.
Yes.
And we've shared different experiences with each other, and I've seen you out in social situations, and kind of the point that I'm getting at is, had we not had this discussion today, I wouldn't have had a clue that you'd gone through any mental battles whatsoever. And I think that's a very, very common thing.
Absolutely.
People don't know
Look
what
at the
other
numbers. It's 1 in 4.
people... Exactly. People don't know what
It's
other
us
people
three
are
on another.
So yeah,
Hopefully
no one's got any idea what others are going through, right?
Yeah.
So when the very first time you were experiencing, battles of mental health, how did you open up? What allowed you to open up?
Well, I didn't at the start.
Okay.
And it burst. And I had no choice but to.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that I was like feeling wrong. But I just thought that was, and then, things boil over and it can get very serious, which is amazing for any of the people that actually haven't gone through any like mental trauma to dedicate their life to this awareness, because they haven't, they're just giving themselves and they haven't necessarily felt anything, but they know, how serious and important it is in something that's not spoken about enough, because we all go through mental health problems on a full spectrum, like you just said. Like some people lose their cat and that's the end of the world, and some people break their back, and some people break their finger, but if it's the end of the world to all of them, all of their worlds have ended. And even though subjectively, someone might have gone through more pain than the other, their world has ended, and that's the and do you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. You mentioned like having been through some stuff, and like obviously going to as much or as little detail as you feel comfortable doing, but like what do those bad days feel like for you? Is it very physical? Is it in your own head? Like try and describe, like, because maybe someone can relate to exactly the way you feel on those bad days.
Yeah.
What does that sort of entail for you?
I mean, I feel my certain situation, I was more affected with mood and stuff like that. So when I was I struggled with depression for about and for about I'd say the last like 2.5 years. I really figured out it was a mental illness was a real thing until that time. Like it caught me by surprise, and ever since then it's been like a slow step up and step up and step up and step up, and something that I'm very proud of. And yeah, it might be feeling really down for the whole day, you know what I mean? Or, at the start maybe experiencing more anxiety and that feeling of panic. And I've been through it all. And as long as I commit to having faith in the process, then I'll be okay, do you know what I mean? And I'll just put my faith in whoever that is, whether that's God, whether that's anything from above, you know what I mean? So when you're struck like without having anything to grip to for like a sureness, you have to put your faith in the unknown and just believe that everything's going to work out.
You sure?
So yeah.
Just on that, like if you don't mind, I'll go again.
Yeah.
You mentioned like about having that almost like blind faith. Like again, like that's something for me I can really relate to. Like
that's beautiful.
You almost have to just tell yourself, you know what, I don't really know how or why it'll be okay, but like I feel like it will be, and you have to grip onto that in a way.
Absolutely.
Were there times when you struggled to hold on to that? Like, because I know for me those were the hardest days when you kind of question that faith.
Absolutely, but I don't know, man. Like even like through the dark times, I just always had like a sense that things will eventually turn. Do you know? And I had no one like to give me assurance, but I was just had faith in the process. Trust the process.
And obviously throughout your journey and through everyone's journey, as a matter of fact, you learn skills along the way. You learn things about yourself. You learn things about your character and what enables you to get through these tough times. You said particularly through these last 3 years is when you've struggled most, but were there things that you struggled with when you were younger that you didn't necessarily know how to quantify?
Yeah, absolutely. And it might have been like a tipping point like 3 years ago, but let me rest assure you, everything comes from somewhere. So, I as we all do, I had demons that I didn't even know about. They came out. So right now I'm just trying to surround myself with as much positive energy as I can, because that's the way I want to live after, seeing the opposite side. That's not always that pretty. So I just try to be that, that optimistic guy. And I feel like people that go through stuff, understand it from that perspective, because they've had things that have been taken away from them completely. They've had nothing. And that's why they feel that way. So,
and so you were really adamant that this was a good platform in the sense that it can enable people to relate to the stories they hear and people connect. And you reached out to us and you said, I love it because it can allow me to relate to other people and vice versa. Tell me what that kind of means to you and what this kind of platform you think has the capacity to do.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm a very open person, but a lot of people aren't, and it's just super important just to be honest with your feelings, because if you put things to the back and try and forget about things, not address the issue, they end up boiling over really badly, potentially. You know what I mean? I'm just here to I guess I'm super nervous, but I'm just here to tell my story, because I know for a fact that if I was I take a lot of inspiration from hearing other people on YouTube, friends, and that I can relate to, and that helps me govern my journey. So I guess I'm nervous and stuff, but at the end of the day, this is I guess, I mean, it sounds like I'm trying to become a superhero, but I'm trying to be the man that I need to be.
For sure.
Yeah. But it's taken a long time, and I'm still not where I want to be. And that's a lifelong process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get to my best level of health and wellness. Possibly to have my best quality of life.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Are there things...
Physical and mental.
Yeah.
My physical, don't talk about my needs, but mental, I'm trying my best.
Yeah.
So,
It's a constant process.
Absolutely, and it's lifelong.
Absolutely.
And we're always growing, even when we're 99, hopefully. I mean, I don't know. Reach that. It's probably pretty far away right now. But yeah.
You're trying to incorporate better habits and stuff like that. Are there specific things that you'd be willing to share that you've tried to, I know people often reference meditation or reading or stuff like that. Are there specific things that you've tried to incorporate? Or
I love having hot showers. They're elite. I do good thinking in the showers. I make music. I've always used it as a way to express myself, and it's one of the biggest parts of my life. It has been for a long time, and after the things that we all go through, I always kind of come back to it. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's there to make you feel something. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's our duty, just to evolve and grow as people.
100%.
So music's that for me, and I just muck around. I have a little mic. I started making beats a few years ago, and I just do it because I love it, and I've been doing it for ages. And that's honestly the most important part of me. That's my meditation, and it makes sense. They're both pretty similar. So I'm yet to do the whole meditation thing. I know everybody says that, but I have a short attention span, and I don't know if I can do it. I could probably do it. Do you do it? You do it? You said you did it?
Yeah, I do it.
I do it, yeah.
Damn. All right, you got to teach me.
No, but different things work for everyone. It sounds like music is almost therapeutic for
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Toby, you are how old now?
24.
You're 24. And you said you really found things tough 3-4 years ago for the very first time you realised that...
Oh no, well, it was a build-up.
It was a build-up.
And then it boiled over at one specific point in time.
Okay.
But I'd gone through, challenges as we all do growing up, and I didn't necessarily know the gravity of it, and maybe I didn't deal with it the right way, and internalize a lot of things. And so it boiled over at that point. But my whole life I've had ups and downs and challenges, and although they might be not as bad as other people or worse than other people, it's my journey, and you know what I mean? We all, it's just subjective. So that's that.
And where I was going with that as well is, so you're 24 now, and someone who has kind of had that crisis point and that calling which you went through a really difficult time. With what you've got now and the skills and tools that you have now...
Oh, I'm a way better person.
So what advice would you give to your younger self that is got no clue what's going on, going through one of the toughest times of their life?
Just move with pure intention. You know what I mean? Like, I just try and live with pure intention. Like, and that you can't get in trouble that way. Like, if I call you a dickhead, but it's with love. And like, I was like, well, you know, what's and like at the end you could say things, but at the end of the day, if you move with like pure intent and genuine, like authentic energy, that's what you'll surround yourself with. So although I get in trouble a lot, but like I try and just move with like pure intention, and because then if I'm moving with that, that's like me moving in like, you know, in the right direction.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just follow your instincts. Like that's like God telling you what to do. I mean, I'm not saying that I believe in God, but I believe in things that are outside of our control.
You speak a lot about like that pure intention stuff. Was it something you think you had to learn over time? Like, is that something you've come to realize, or has it always been something you've lived by and kind of, I don't know, grabbed onto?
Honestly, like, I'm a sensitive guy, so I feel other people like maybe a little bit harder than other people, but you know, I want to be. That's why I try and like move accordingly, because I know that, you know, I know what that other person is feeling potentially, and I want to be there for them. And you know, I'm just a more sensitive person. That's all. Yeah, I'm just a more sensitive person, so I've got to be careful what I give my energy to, because it can really affect me. And some people are less sensitive than others, and they might be thrown in that fire and be okay. But if I'm thrown in that fire, like I'm that like sensitive guy, and then it will affect me. And so I'm the kind of guy that takes on a lot of energy. So I've had to learn to like surround myself with more positive energy, because I feel like I just like I attract whatever the energy is.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when you walk in a room and you see like a cute kitten, like your whole energy changes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I relate 100%.
Yeah. So that's that. Yeah.
And lastly, I just wanted to summarise by saying, so in going back to that, I've known you for years, and as I said, this is the very first time I've ever heard about your encounters with mental health, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of people in the same position as me.
For sure.
Do you think you see yourself as a person who, if someone wanted to reach out to you or get in touch with you, they could do that?
Yeah, for sure. On my, you know, Instagram, phone number, it's always like open to anyone, and I enjoy, you know, being open with people and trying to help people and have people help me.
Yeah.
So that's like where the growth happens. So I have people in my life already that I can, you know, provide that for me, I'll continue to just try and live in accordance with, you know, my values, I guess, and yeah.
100%. Well, thank you so much for coming to speak to us, and just in echoing my sentiments at the start, it's no easy feat talking about mental health, and especially in such a public forum as well, where you know that people are going to see it. And so really, just on behalf of Noah and myself, and Noah, I'm sure echo what it is that I say, but thank you so much for taking the time, and it's been a pleasure speaking to you and hearing about your experiences and hearing about what you're going through and what helps. And really just thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I would back that up. I'll back that up to say it's been a privilege to hear you speak.
Absolutely.
I guess I don't know you quite as well as Jordan does, but it's been awesome to just hear a bit of your story.
Mate, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for
so
coming.
much.
I had a lot of fun.